And we're very, very happy to have Josh Sholler with us, who orchestrated what ended up being a really, really cool thing here in Hillsdale County. What was it, last week?
Last week, Wednesday.
You're the guy that made it happen. The choir performing the National Anthem at the Tiger game. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tell me, I want to hear it all. I mean, how did this happen? How did you guys ever schedule that?
It's crazy. Came back from winter break in January, and I had in my mailbox, the Detroit Tigers had sent us a little application to apply to sing. And I kind of thought it was a long shot, just thinking about it, small rural school district, and kind of thinking, I don't know what our chances are. And I kind of set it aside at first. And then our principal, Mr. Bailey, also had an envelope in the mail, and he gave it to me. And at that point, I was like, well, why not? And at that point, I applied, and I told the kids that I was applying, and then right away, the reaction was just, this would be amazing. This would be so awesome. So that, they were really excited. I told them right away, I don't know what our chances are, but we'll see. I contacted the Tigers, and I asked them, when should we hear back? And they said sometime in February. And so the weeks went by, January, February. The students every week, have you heard? Have you heard? And not yet. Finally, we get to the last week of February. I had still not heard, and at that point, it was the middle of the week, Wednesday. I told the kids in class, I don't think we're going to go this year. And we were all kind of a little bit bummed out. We figured it's not going to happen this year. And Thursday after school, I got that email right in the inbox saying the RHS choir was selected to sing, and it was just a moment of, I cannot believe this is happening right now. And from there, I told our superintendent, Mr. Chuck North, and then the principal, Mr. Rick Bailey, that evening, once I found out, and then we kind of orchestrated a little surprise for the kids the next day to tell them. And so we called them down out of class during third hour. Choir typically meets during sixth hour, so we were trying to create the pressure situation, what's going on right here. A few students walked in. One of them, Jenny Davis, she said, I know what this is. I know what this is about. And I kind of looked at her. I gave her that look of concern. And Mr. Bailey was in the room with us, and I started talking to them about, there was a video posted, it was inappropriate. We're going to have a conversation. And at this point, in about a month from now, we're going to have to take a day off of school to go sing the National Anthem for the Detroit Tigers. And, that moment right there, I will remember that moment for the rest of my life. There was hugs, tears, high fives, jumping, just screaming, such a sense of joy and elation. It was really, really awesome.
Josh Scholler's the choir director at Reading High School. Talk about the application letter. I mean, what did you put in there to try to sway it in your favor? They didn't get a recording of you, did they?
They did not. In the application, they asked us a few things. What have you done? What has the choir done? And what makes your choir stand out in different ways? And my angle was, ever since I arrived in Reading a couple years ago, I've always wanted the choir to be out in the community, not just something that performs after school. So every year in December, we go to the Hillsdale Community, the medical care facility, and carol for the residents. We caroled around town, Christmas caroled. So we're very out with our community and performing as much as we can to really not just be that staple of music in the school, but as well as our community, which we'd be nothing without.
I told Israel and Matt this. Israel Healy and Matt Davis are here too. I told those guys I could not believe that they signed you on to perform the National Anthem without hearing you. I mean, that surprised me. I assumed that would be a no-brainer. Were you surprised that there was no demo or anything like that?
I was very surprised. And my thought, thinking about it, I heard this afterwards, and I talking to the Tigers about this as well. A couple hundred schools, organizations apply for this, and they only are able to give it out to, I want to say probably 10 or 20. Mm-hmm. And with that said, just thinking there has to be some sort of rhyme or reason to their selection process. And the fact that they selected us without hearing us, there has to be something.
Well, it worked out great for you guys, but it worked out great for them too, because you guys did a spectacular job with the anthem. I think your Facebook video has been shared something like 10,000 times, and it's got thousands and thousands of views. It was a sensational performance. How did you get the choir fit and ready to put on that kind of a performance?
It was, it was a lot of work just on their behalf, on the students' behalf, to really focus in on learning that music. We really focused in. It took about a week for us to get the music, and I was losing rehearsal time, and I started kind of freaking out a little bit, because we were losing valuable time to make sure that anthem was going to be the best thing we've ever done. And learning it, recording their parts on the piano and sending it to them so that they can listen to it when they go to sleep at night, listen to their individual harmony part, and every time that they have a free spare moment, listen to your part and have it memorized. From those rehearsals, recording ourselves every week and then listening to it and make discussion. What can we do to improve this? What do you guys here? Making it a collaborative process. What can we do to really make this the best thing we've ever done?
It was spectacular, and you can find it on Facebook. I think I already posted the video on my page one time. I'll do it again on the Time Out with Andy Brown page. Josh Sholler is the director of the reading choir. I have so many things to ask you and not a lot of time, so I'm trying to speed through this. Your entire school canceled school because so many people wanted to go and watch the performance. When did you know that was going to happen, and how excited were you about that?
We pretty much found out going into it, after telling our superintendent, Mr. North, that this was going to happen. We kind of have a conversation right away. Lots of teachers wanted to go. We have lots of students who have parents that are teachers. And right then we decided, Mr. North said, what it would be like any other, if one of our sports teams made it to finals, we want to support our choir to the best of our ability. And so the decision was made, let's give everyone every opportunity that if they want to go, they have that. So he decided, instead of, the thought originally was to cancel after people start buying tickets, but he decided, I think we're going to get more people if we cancel beforehand. And so he made the decision to cancel school, and from there, ticket sales took off. And we sold, our first initial lot was 300, and we sold probably 150 tickets in a 2-hour span once they went on sale.
I've known Chuck for a while. I don't know if Chuck's listening tonight, but that was an excellent decision. Because Israel and I, Matt, have talked about this. Not only does it give everybody an opportunity to go and hear you guys, but it shows these kids that they're really important too, that it isn't just all about sports or whatever, that, the arts are important too, and we're going to take a day and honor that part, that side of our skill set at our school. I think it's awesome.
Right, I completely agree. I think it's a huge, from my standpoint, music education,
right.
Band director, choir director, it's a huge statement on reading community schools and, the value that the school board and the superintendent place on the arts. I think that's just a huge statement for a small school district in Hillsdale County to really throw that much support and weight behind the decision to cancel school. So
how many reading folks do you think showed up at the game?
The estimate that we all kind of came up with, we think over 600.
Wow.
From the small town of Reading, showed up in force at Comerica Park that day. It was cool in the sense that about every 20 feet that you were walking in Comerica Park, oh hi, how you doing? It was Reading all the time.
So are these the shirts that you wore to the event?
Yep, these are the shirts.
So this is it's like in the Old English style, but it's RHS choir with the blue and the orange. Very cool.
Yeah, Israel actually had the idea to combine like the RHS kind of logo, but also have like the Tigers kind of flair to it.
Yeah, the Old English D style, absolutely right.
And Katie Wheeler from KT's did a fantastic job organizing all of our shirts. We ended up selling 150 shirts.
Cool.
In the span of about 4 days.
Israel Healy joins us. I want to get your perspective on this. What was the reaction really of the students when you found out?
Well, everyone was jumping and screaming and high-fiving and, like he said, even tears, mostly from the girls, but, lots of hugging, and we couldn't calm down for the rest of the day because it was right in the middle of the day when we found out. So all of us were ecstatic for the rest of the afternoon, and no one else who wasn't in choir really understood what we were that excited about, but the school really made an awesome big deal about it, and all of us really appreciated that.
Was there a point though when you were preparing to sing that you were like, man, I don't know if this is worth it, because it sounds like you guys put in a ton of work to get ready for it?
No, it was completely worth it, every minute of it, and Mr. Sholler did an amazing job of bringing in other professionals to help us with it, and we really polished it, and I think we were definitely ready for that day.
How nervous were you guys? Let's just talk about the day. You get in a bus, the school buses you up there.
Yeah.
Take it from there. What's the first thing you find when you get to the park?
Well, it really became real when we saw the giant tiger out front of Comerica Park, and like we waited for a good 2.5 hours before we actually sang, so we got to soak it all in and continue getting more and more nervous as the day went on. But like when we were down there about to walk out on the field, it really became real that we were about to go do this. And there was mix from like complete quietness from some people in the choir, and others jumping up and down, getting ready for it. It was just like a sporting event.
So do they take you? They took you downstairs, right, or into the media holding area? Yeah. And what did they say to you at that time? They
basically said, well, now you can use this time to warm up. Don't touch the players as they walk by. And Paz will be in shortly to say hello. So it was cool.
Matt, you told me this morning that Paz actually farted. I know this is a family show, but this is too good to believe. Paz can fart?
Oh, Paz can definitely fart. And thankfully for us, he was in a suit. For him, the fart sort of fermented, and he probably was at the mercy of his own stench for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, he is enclosed in that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you meet Paz, you're down in the holding area. Finally, who escorts you out onto the field?
A guy named Corey. Corey Bell, he had helped Mr. Sholler orchestrate a lot of the other stuff, and he was with us the entire time, kind of telling us we can, calm us down sometimes, and of course telling us not to touch players and stuff like that.
So you walk out onto the field. How pumped are you guys? Were you nervous? Were people really scared? Were you guys excited? What was the emotion?
It was, I don't know. It was, I can't really describe it. You just step out there and you see everything. Like, you see the entire stadium. And of course, it wasn't like, Tiger Stadium's biggest day or anything. It was their second day, and it was a little rainy. Right. But that was a lot more people than we've ever sang to, like a lot. And there were professional baseball players listening to it too, which was really cool. So it's something that I can't quite describe. And if you've ever seen Napoleon Dynamite, I'll be Uncle Ricoing that for the rest of my life.
Israel, you start the song. Did you just feel once the song started that your practice kind of took over?
Yeah, definitely. Once you've rehearsed it that many times, you kind of just zone out and you're in anthem mode.
Right.
And all you're doing is watching Mr. Scholler's hands for the timing and recalling the words as you go. And so we were trained not to look at the giant TV screen in the back and not to listen to the reverberation of our own voice, but you really had to lock on to just the music.
I think that would be hard to sing while the echo of your voice is coming back on you. Was that a challenge?
Yeah, it wasn't something we could really prepare for all that much. I mean, we sang on our own gymnasium, but that's obviously nothing compared to Comerica Park. But
you said that they were really specific about where they wanted you to be and where they wanted you to stand.
Yeah,
tell me about that.
They made definitely sure that we did not cross any or step on any sidelines. They said touching the big letter D on the field was definitely a no-no and a taboo, and do not do that. You will be kicked out of the field.
Oh, no. Yeah. Jeez. So you guys finish it off. You got 600 reading people there. Yeah. You probably could hear them above everything, right?
Oh, yeah. You could hear them from start to finish, kind of an echo in the background cheering, and you knew it was reading. We weren't allowed to turn around, but you knew it was reading in the back.
Maddie Davis, how cold were you the rest of the day?
I wasn't that bad. I had brought a wonderfully soft blanket.
Good idea.
Which unfortunately Gabe's little brother dropped it in the water. But it was awesome, and even they had hot chocolate. And one of the coolest things, a lot of people donated money for the choir members to just eat food there. Each one of us received $20, cash in hand, to buy. So a lot of us just bought full pizzas, to eat for the rest of the day. So and hot chocolate and stuff like that. So we were pretty well set.
Josh, did they take care of your tickets for you when you're performing the National Anthem? Did they supply tickets for you?
Yeah, we had so many people that donated. In terms of the tickets, the Tigers I think it just relates to their policy, but they only provided 10 free tickets. And so if your group's bigger than 10, you have to figure out the difference. Right. And Mr. North and his family donated to pay for all of the choir's members' tickets, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. I mean, again, it all goes back to that support. I mean, what other district can say that? I mean, that's huge. One of our school board members, Randy Sanders, donated money to give to the choir for the students to have for meals in the park. The Reading Music Boosters also donated money for the kids to have in the park. June's Place donated $250 to pay for the choir members' shirts. We also had community members just walk into the school office and donate $200 and $100 to pay for students that couldn't afford to go to the Tigers game, that would allow them to go to get a ticket and a bus ride.
There are very few stories that I hear that make me as happy as this one. I think it's awesome. From the top to the bottom at your school, you handled that with so much pride, and I couldn't believe how many people, not even from the Reading School Board, got excited about this. It was really a whole county thing, and boy, did you represent us well. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What an awesome performance. And did anybody from the Tigers say, hey, good job, you want to do it again, or anything like that?
I've received a few emails from the Tigers. Corey Bell, the guy that I coordinated with, said that we did a fantastic job. We rehearsed it right in the tunnel in the little press room where they were holding us right before we went out. And one of them said, if you guys do that out there, you're going to have a great time. And they did that. I was so proud of the students when they performed. They held that last note. For me, it was just such a sense of, pride, and so proud of my students, just to see them accomplish that. It's just, that makes no paycheck, nothing could ever replace that moment, and that special, that special moment between myself and them and the entire community.
I was watching you direct, man. You were getting into it.
Can you say that again?
You were getting into that direction a little bit while you were out there.
I was definitely into it.
Great job, man. Congratulations, Josh Sholler, Israel Healy, and Matt Davis. Of course, the girls all had a track meet tonight or something, so not everybody could be here, but thanks to you guys for making it happen. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Andy.